Run! There she is! She's a witch! Can you imagine how horrified I was to realize that they were talking about me? That's just one of the many trials, temptations, and tribulations that I was forced to face as a born-again Christian, attempting to do what God had called me to do. There were a whole lot worse and more rough and challenging pathways that I was forced to walk in my quest to be obedient to God's call on my life. Now, over 15 years ago, I was a fairly new Christian, and I had a vision. I heard a voice, and I heard words to the effect that I want you to teach my entrepreneurs how to be successful in business based on my principles. I want you to start with a local academy and then expand to other countries. And as I saw the countries, I heard their names. Now, out of that vision, I started a Christian business academy in the Caribbean and have been helping Christian entrepreneurs to recognize their business calling, connecting that with God's timing, and then coaching them to birth or rebirth, grow, and expand their businesses to achieve all of the success that they've dreamed about and that we all deserve. Coming out of the pandemic, I have started to expand to the global market, and I've been called to reach all across the world. Today, I am going to share with you 3 areas that I help entrepreneurs with. And all I ask of you is that you choose one of these tips or strategies that shines out to you. And then when you go back to your home or to your business, I'm asking that you put it into practice and that you will see it work and see the difference that just one of these tips is going to make. Now, there are 3 parts of what I call the you strategy, and these are as follows. Number 1, the first you is you, yourself and your character. And let's look at James 1:21, and let's read it. Therefore, get rid of all moral filth and the evil that is so prevalent, and humbly accept the word planted in you, which can save you. So sometimes as Christians, we are not always out there involved in blatant sin and immorality referred to by James here. If you are, you definitely need to clean up your act. But more likely and more often, there are some subtle and sometimes overlooked business practices and lifestyles that seem simple enough but are not pleasing unto the Lord, such as not paying your taxes. And we are told by Jesus himself in Matthew 22:21, give back to Caesar what is Caesar's, and to God what is God's. So let's just deal with the first part of his instruction now. Are you accurately paying your income tax, if at all? And are you accurately paying the taxes for your business? There are many tax concessions and deductions that you are legally permitted to enjoy. And we're going to go through that in an entirely different session about how to claim these benefits. And that's totally fine. But it is critical to make sure that any of this disobedience in your life or in your business, that you wipe it out now. So that's the first you, yourself. The second you is your business foundation. Make sure that you're following your true business purpose. So make certain that your business is built on a solid foundation. There are many ways to build your business foundation. so that it's not just biblical, but divinely orchestrated for you for this season in your life. So while there are times when you're going to be doing things in your life that you may not feel that it's connected to your purpose, God calls us, and sometimes He's preparing us for our purpose in some strange and unexpected ways. So for example, many years ago, a prophet was visiting the church that I was at and told me that I was going to be a teacher. Now, I guess you could say I was a bit like Sarah, and I laughed out loud. At that time, I had been an entrepreneur from the time I was about 6 years old, and my mom had become like a millionaire in the bridal business in my country. And I decided that I wanted to do a lot more than her. And I had launched a complete wedding business complex, or a kind of a mini empire in my home country. So I added an entire wedding coordination and planning branch, along with the bridal suite and the wedding accessories, and I was doing pretty well, especially as I was doing it alongside my corporate job. I thought it was perfect, as I was a master planner with great attention to detail. So when the prophet said teacher and actually gave age ranges, I honestly thought she had gotten everything right except for that teacher prophecy. But God knew His divinely developed plan. So sometimes you may find yourself researching or going after something that was never in your mind to do. God actually had to take away the corporate job and my wedding empire. And then teaching, as He showed me in the vision, became crystal clear. And my original business degree, my spiritual certifications, and my advanced education master's degree all made sense. So I'm sharing this with you so that you can do 3 things. Sometimes He gives His guidance through someone else. So that's 1. 2, prayerfully examine all of your giftings, your talents, your abilities, your skills, and your experience. They may be all serving a purpose towards your godly calling at this time. And 3, identify what you're called to do in this season. Often it's a combination of what you love to do and what you're able to do, or what you're skilled and trained in. One thing is sure, your true calling is never something that you can easily accomplish on your own. If you can do it without God, it's probably just a stepping stone towards your calling, or even a distraction that God may have to remove, like my self-made wedding empire. So those are the 3 things for your business foundation. And the 3rd step is your business processes and practices. Now, while we all want to rush to the business strategies, until you have done your self-examination and examining your business foundation, you really shouldn't step yet to looking at the business processes. So today we're going to examine one business process, which is correctly selecting your business target audience. I'll share first looking at my industry, teaching, mentoring, and coaching Christian entrepreneurs. Well, everyone often thinks that everybody in the world can benefit from your knowledge. That's not your ideal customer. Any entrepreneur, and every entrepreneur, can benefit from what I teach, even if they're not Christian. But I believe that the Lord gave me a specific scripture for this 3rd point. Matthew 7:6. Give not that which is holy unto the dogs, neither cast your pearls before the swine, lest haply they trample them under their feet and turn and rend you. What God has given you is a precious gift. You can't just throw it out in front of everyone and anyone. You need to get clear and specific on who your true target audience is. Firstly, sometimes I think, who would be the perfect person to receive my trainings or coaching? It could be a real person, if that person already exists, or it could be someone that you create a perfect person on paper and then market to that person. But remember, you're never going to give that which is holy unto the dogs, nor cast your pearls before swine. So, narrow your target business audience, bearing in mind that scripture. Every time you're tempted to widen your audience, remember the scripture: a smaller, tighter audience is often more effective. So, if you are a Christian entrepreneur and you're not sure what's your divinely orchestrated route to take in business or ministry at this time, or you find yourself struggling to get up to the spiritual or financial realm that you know that you're called to, or if you find that there are many obstacles that keep popping up, challenging you at this time, and you're not certain what to do next, I'd like to invite you to send me an email at business success TKW, business success the King's Way, business success TKW@gmail.com, and send the subject line saying free assessment so that we can have a chat. Now, like many of you, I wanted to put God first, but it was so hard, so challenging, because when I knew I was being called a witch, and I could imagine the persecution that would come with that, it was a hard decision to say, I'm going to obey God and help as many persons as possible. So I'd like to encourage you, whatever God has called you to do, no matter how challenging it may seem or how hard it is, do what God has called you to do. Allow me to go back to the start of the story that I shared earlier. When persons were calling me a witch, those persons, they were my friends, quote unquote. They were my church mates, persons who I might have given my life for. And even though it was only about 15 or so years ago, in my home country, many persons did not believe that the Bible and business should be mixed. In fact, I had many ministers of the gospel coming up to me and saying, let the Bible be the Bible and let business be business. Do not mix the two. But I had to do what God called me to do. And I lost all of my quote unquote friends, and I had to travel just me, my family members, and God. And God brought me all the way through. He walked me through starting and launching my own radio program called Business Success the King's Way, authoring my own book helping Christian entrepreneurs, also with the same name, Business Success the King's Way. And God brought me new godly friends. So right now, I'd like to say the road may not be easy, but as long as you are walking in the call that God has given to you, He's going to lead you all the way through. So I look forward to hearing from you. I'm Jackie Watson. May God bless you. May God bless your business.